All right. Well, I want to welcome everybody. Good morning to our AEGEA Saturday training call. I'm Suzi Jackson, and I'm going to be your guide for the next 30 or 40 minutes today. We're going to have a brief training to help you hopefully go to the next level of success in your AEGEA business. And if you haven't already, let's get you qualified with one on the left and one on the right, and let's get you earning the 2x2 bonus, which includes sponsoring 2 people with the executive path or higher. I think we need to mute some folks. The executive path or higher, and that can return an investment to you of over $300. And so you can do that as often as you like. Then I'm going to have my friend Dr. Pat come on, and she's going to do a brief training on AEGEA's NO patches, and we're going to have a couple of testimonies. You won't want to miss that. She's going to have you really wanting to load up on NO. So it's probably a good idea to take some notes, and I hope that you will find something of value here. So again, I'm Suzi Jackson. I'm a Platinum Elite with AEGEA. I've been with AEGEA since last July, and it's been quite a ride. The future here is not only energetic, it's very bright. There are lots of new things coming. We've just introduced the world's first energetic pet product, and it's protected by 2 patents. So it's one-of-a-kind product, and you guys have an advantage with that. So order yours today, and there are more new products that are on the way. Now, in some recent trainings, you have heard my friend George talk about the importance of a why to inspire yourself to work and to build your AEGEA business. And the fact that you're on this call today tells me that you already have a why. So we're glad that you're here. On February 16th, I did a training that talked about teachability, duplication, and the very basic steps of invite, present, connect, enroll, and repeat. And then I gave you some action steps to take right away. Now, you can easily find all the AEGEA recordings by subscribing to AEGEA's YouTube channel. And that's really the best way to keep up with them. And so you can, have them all, you can access them all there. You can refer back to them, and you can share them with your team. And I recommend that you actually listen to that recording that I did on February the 16th, because I'm going to be building from there. So today, what I want to do is I want to cover the first step of inviting, which is called inviting, and it's sharing the AEGEA message. So this is going to be a very basic training today. I know people on this Zoom are at all different levels of their business, but I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to do something super simple that you can start changing the direction of your business right away. Now, I'm sure that everyone on this call has invited someone to some type of event, whether it be a birthday, a business function, some type of a celebration of a sort. So we're going to be utilizing that skill set that we already have, okay? And so further, I'm sure that you have all at some point made a referral to someone. Maybe you told them about a sale that was going on, or a great deal that you found somewhere, maybe, a gun show taking place, a car show taking place. It's something that you have learned about and that you think could benefit that person. Now, when you made the referral or you made the invitation, you gave thought to who you wanted to invite, and you could probably answer the question, why? Why did you choose that person? And it's because of something that you knew about that person, right? And then when you made a type of referral, you did so to that person, probably for yourself, because we all like to help people, right? We want to make a difference in people's lives. So I want you to think about inviting, making referrals, and then I want you to think about team building. So now, whether you play a sport or not, let's use the example of a tennis team. I happen to love tennis. Maybe some of you do as well. So let's say that you're going to put together a tennis team. So what would you do? Well, you would start to think about the following: other people who like tennis, people who like to win, people who like to run fast, people who are athletic, people who get along well with others, people with good energy, people with good ethics. You want good, responsible people. You want people who play fair, team players, reliable, honest, all those kinds of things. So you kind of get the idea. You know, you're going to be thinking about certain types of people with an ends in mind. So in our business, we are either inviting, we're either referring a product, or we're team building. And these are things that you already know how to do. And so the point is that it's actually very natural and that you have actually been doing this for years. Now, in network marketing, your inventory are your contacts, people that you know, people that you have access to. That's a big one today. Social media, networks, church groups, LinkedIn, your neighborhood, and the list goes on and on. And of course, people that you run into as you live your life on a daily basis. And then the biggest group is the people that your contacts know. So there is no shortage of people to talk to. Perhaps today you just need a little inspiration. Okay? So we need a list, we have to have our inventory, and we need to add to it every day. As I'm out and about, I'm always meeting new people, I'm building relationships, and I'm listening for clues of people that I might want to refer the product to, or people who might be good for team building. And then I try to add at least five new friends on Facebook every day. And this way I am adding people that I think, you know, have influence, people that have positive posts, people that, you know, seem to be very upbeat, you know, and so that's how I make new friends. So that is something that you can do. You can just look for people as you in your daily day, because everybody's scrolling on Facebook. All right, so now let's be more specific. How can we apply the skill of inviting and referring and team building to our AEGEA business? So we need to start by asking ourselves some questions. Now, we all know or know of so many people, okay? But because we don't see and talk to those people every day, what do? We forget who they are. That's very natural. So here's an exercise to help trigger your memory. And if anyone comes to mind as I read some of these, write these down, and then you'll be that much further along, but you're going to kind of get the idea. Who is the most successful leader you know? Who are the people that are good, that you know, that are good at organizing? People, captains of teams, team leaders, church leaders, club leaders. Who's that person that goes and knows everyone? Who's that person that people seek advice from? Who's the best athlete you know, the most successful? Who are the entrepreneurial people that you know? Who's the best teacher that you know? Who are the nurses that you know? Who are the person that's always involved in community events? Who are the good fundraisers? Anyway, this list goes on and on. I've got about 40 of them. All right, we've got a little technical thing there. I'm going to let Kara handle that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this complete list and I'm going to post it in the AEGEA Facebook page, and I'm going to let Kara type in the chat the AEGEA Facebook page. I'll post all these questions there, and then you can work on that and begin to build your list. And we want everybody to be a part of that page. Anyway, so once you've gone through this series of questions, you're going to have a great list to start team building. And so then you might have an additional list for product specific people. And we're not going to prejudge people, because the people who you think will won't, the people who you think won't will, and somebody that you think is business minded, product, and vice versa. So questions that we might ask ourselves for potential product prospects are, who do you know who's into health? Who do you know who takes supplements? Who do you know who has some sort of physical ailment? People are always complaining, back pain, foot pain, they're tired, they can't think straight. You know, who do you know who has low energy? Anyway, that's just a partial list, and I will put that list on the Facebook page as well, and that's going to help you trigger some ideas and some people. So you get the idea. Having people to talk to should never be a problem. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you something that is so very simple that you can do after you make your inventory list. All right, are you ready for that? Simple, keep it simple. So recall the steps that I said. Number one is to invite. We do that with a question. Number two is to present. We do that with a tool, not you. We use a tool. The third step is to follow up, and we're going to ascertain whether they want to be a customer or a business builder or nothing, possibly. And then the fourth is that we're going to connect them to our upline, our mentor, whoever our support system is, through a three-way call. Then we're going to enroll them as either a customer or an affiliate. And then we're going to repeat that process. And now you have a track to run on, and you have a track to put your leaders on, and can teach them something very duplicatable. So what I'm going to do is teach you 2 simple invites that anybody can do. And I want you to set a goal to contact 2 people a day. This is so doable. And I want you to keep in mind to remember the 2x2 bonus. That's your goal. That's what you're working toward. So as you're sharing the AEGEA message, what we're doing is we're just sorting, all right? We want to see who's interested, who's not, who's interested in the product, or who's interested in the business, all right? Doesn't matter to us. Now, if you have a personal relationship with the person that you are getting ready to call, here's the invitation that I would suggest you use. We call this a direct invitation because we are going to be asking the question directly of them, for them, and to them. And so you can call your prospect on the phone, your friend. It's going to be somebody that you know, and you can have just a quick chit chat. But then you say, the reason that I'm calling, and I know you're so busy, but I just wanted to give you a quick call. I discovered something really fascinating, and it made me think of you. If I send you a quick video, would you take a look at it and give me your feedback either later today or tonight? So that's step 1. That's called the invitation. And then what I recommend you do, they'll probably say yes. Most people will say yes. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to then text them the company video. It's a new video. It's a little over 3 minutes, but it really goes through things very well. And that's called step 2, which is present. And we're going to use a tool because we are not going to present to this person. We're going to let the tool do the work so that we can show how simple it is. And remember, I mean, we're just sorting. I mean, not everyone wants to be a policeman. Not everyone wants to be a library. We're just finding out who's interested and who's not. Okay, so that is our direct invitation. Now, when you set up that follow-up, well, I'll talk to you about that in just a second. The indirect invitation is what I want to share with you next. And this is for a person that you don't have a close relationship. It could be, it's more an acquaintance, it's more somebody that you know of, it could be somebody on Facebook. And so what I want you to do is either say or text the following. And, you know, you all are lucky. We're living in a time where texting is quite acceptable. You know, back in the old days, you know, we couldn't do that. We had to get on the phone or get in front of somebody. So texting is fairly acceptable today, I think. So when you text this person, you want to remind them of how you all know each other. And you could start off by saying something like, and I like to use a little humility, and say, you know what, you probably don't remember me, but we met at church. We met through my friend Mary. We became friends on Facebook X amount of years ago. We met at an event. And then you can say, and I don't know if you remember me, but you stood out to me because, and then you pay them a compliment. And then they're going to come back to you and they're going to say, oh yeah, I remember you. Or they're going to say, no, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. And you say, well, you know, that's okay. But I wonder if I could get your help on something. And they will always say, how can I help you? And that's when you're going to say, I'm introducing a new advanced breakthrough in wearable health and wellness technology to the marketplace in this area, your state, your country, wherever it is. Would you take 3 minutes and let me know who you think would be a good connection for me? I've had amazing results myself. Okay, so this is an indirect, and basically what you're doing is looking for a referral, and then you can send them the video. Now, you know, the goal here is to get as many people as you can to view this video. And so this person that you're asking this question of right now, they may actually be interested themselves, but they don't feel any type of pressure because you're not trying to recruit them or prospect them. They think you're just trying to give them a referral. So these are two very easy approaches. And when they agree to watch the video, you just ask them, may I check back with you and get your feedback later today, because it's only 3 minutes, or this evening. And then what we're doing there is we're going ahead and we're setting up step number 3, which is our follow-up. And then when we do the follow-up, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be asking them what they liked best or who they thought of, okay, in the case of the indirect. And we're going to be sorting to find out, do we have a customer? Do we have builder interest? And when you do have interest, the next thing I want you to do is to tell them, oh my gosh, you have to meet my friend Susie. You have to meet my friend Penny. You have to meet my friend George, or Dr. God, whoever your leader is. And I want you to edify them so that they really want to meet this person. And then you can say something like, you've got to hear this story or that story, or you've got to hear, the bigger picture of what's happening in this company. And that's how you set up the 3-way call. And then your mentor, leader, whoever you're working with, can do the work from there. So that is a very simple thing that you can do. And I remember a time in my network marketing career where I was at a point where I had very low confidence. I didn't have any belief in myself, but I believed in the mission of what we were doing. And what I did was my mentor just taught me what I just taught you, something very simple that I could say and say often. And I would get those people on the phone with my mentor so fast. Why did I do that? Because I was scared. Because I thought, I don't know anything more than I've just done, and I'm afraid you're going to ask me a question I can't answer. So I edified her strongly and got them on the phone with her. And I went on to build a business with my mentor and with a team that generated over $1 million in income for me. So I know this sounds very simple, but simple works. So the next time that we get together and talk, I will be happy to expand on this. I hope that you will choose to take my challenge today and begin talking to 2 people again, and 2 people a day until we talk again. And as I said, I will put these questions in the list generator on the AEGEA Facebook page. Now, I want to leave you with just a couple of thoughts here on this business training. If you have any fear about this, what is fear? Fear is false evidence appearing real, all right? And as we say in AEGEA, everything is energy. Every word, and I know Dr. Pat will agree with me, holds a resonance. And you don't want to resonate fear or desperation. What do you want to resonate? You want to resonate love. It is the strongest vibration. So how do you do that? Well, as you're making your referral or your invitation or working on your team building, I want you to think about this as you call this person. Are you ready? This could be a life-changing call for this person, but we won't know until we make the call. Fortune favors the brave, and someone was brave enough to call you, and someone is probably going to call your prospect eventually. So it might as well be you. So 2 a day until we meet again this way is my motto. So what we're going to do now is transition to my wonderful guest, Dr. Pat, I wanted us today to focus on the nitrocubits because Dr. Pat, she is very involved with heart health, and she is very, very passionate about all the AEGEA products, but particularly about the nitric oxide. Dr. Pat is a pastor. She has a big heart. She's got super big brain cells. She is so sweet. And she's been an energy practitioner for over 40 years. So she has a lot that she can be teaching us. So I want to welcome Dr. Pat this morning. Dr. Pat, can you unmute yourself? Dr. Pat, can you unmute yourself?
I'll do. There we go.
Okay. There you are. Fantastic. Well, let's get started. You know, maybe share with us why you're so passionate about nitric oxide and why it's so critical.
Well, interestingly enough, it was when I was introduced to AEGEA that I really began looking into the power of nitric oxide. And it's a gas that's produced in every tissue and organ of your body, from your muscles to your brain. And it's a powerful signaling molecule that we simply cannot live without. Nitric oxide production is essential for overall health because it allows blood, nutrients, and oxygen to travel to every part of your body effectively and efficiently. And its most important function, although not the only one, excuse me, is vasodilation, where it tells the arteries to relax, which allows more oxygen into the tissues by increasing blood flow. And because it opens these arteries, of course, it also lowers blood pressure. Nitric oxide is used to modulate pain and excite nerves in the brain. Do you want me to share a little more specific details about some of the things it does?
Yes, and be sure, we've got a good question that has popped up. Share with us what it does, but also the symptoms of low nitric oxide.
Okay. Well, first of all,
people are deficient.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
I do want to share a little more detail in terms of what nitric oxide does for us. Let me start with the Nobel Committee. Dr. Ignaro in 1998 received an award for all of his many years of studies on nitric oxide and its health and medical benefits. And a team of medical doctors who formed the committee to study, actually medical scientists, not just medical doctors, identified a couple of things that I thought was really interesting. Not only, first of all, with the heart, because it's most important for our circulatory, cardiovascular, and also our nervous system health. So that basically entails the basis for us being alive. With the heart, what it does is it reduces the probability of plaque being formed inside of the interior wall of the arteries, and it actually dissolves plaque. It can furnish us with, of course, increased blood flow. The lungs, if the lungs are, it's very important in our lungs and for asthma patients. And what they have done is they have found that even through the use of nitric oxide, they can diagnose inflammatory conditions such as asthma, colitis, and really many other diseases, just by virtue of analyzing the production of nitric oxide from the lungs or the intestines for those specific conditions. And cancer, they have found that white blood cells uses nitric oxide not only to kill infectious agents, such as bacteria, fungus, and parasites, but it also protects us from becoming a host to tumors. So they have actually seen through Dr. Ignaro's work, current testing was showing that nitric oxide actually is used to stop the growth of tumors.
Wow.
Since nitric oxide can induce actually what they call programmed cell death, which is apoptosis. And then they found also that nitric oxide can initiate erection of the penis by dilating the blood vessels to the erectile bodies, which is also connected to the brain and the neurotransmitters. And it also is important for our olfactory sense, and our capacity to actually recognize different scents. So if there are people out there who have lost their taste, don't really taste foods like they used to or smell, then that is a sign of deficiency. But I am going to go into more areas of deficiency in a minute. But it also even is important to our memory, our focus, and our attention. It lowers your blood pressure, improves your circulation, is absolutely imperative for heart prevention in terms of developing different types of heart diseases. And it reduces your likelihood to have a heart attack and a stroke. And it decreases recovery time. So for athletes and people who work out a lot, you think about taking off time to let the muscles rebuild. This will help improve the recovery time for that, but also recovery time for a person who has had surgery or has had some kind of injury.
Fantastic, fantastic. So did you want to talk some about deficiency and what that looks like?
Yes. So first of all, I want to say that nitric oxide develops predominantly in the interior walls, the endothelial tissue, but that tissue inside of our arteries is usually a nice smooth, and it's usually damaged by age or unhealthy lifestyles, illnesses, toxic environments, or genetic propensities, and that can impair the production of nitric oxide. So, and we found that a deficiency of nitric oxide can contribute to illnesses of more than 62 million Americans who suffer from elevated blood pressure, arteriosclerosis, heart disease, high blood pressure, heart failure, or stroke. So let's talk just a minute about, first of all, most people feel fatigued, burned out, or tired by about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. These are usually people who have been hard workers. They push themselves to the point of exhaustion. And what they've done is they've actually utilized all of their nitric oxide stores. And then we have a group of people who really don't even realize that they're experiencing the effects of nitric oxide deficiency because it's been such a gradual dwindling down sensation that they just think that that's how that they usually feel. And then there's a third group of people that kind of think, oh, I'm getting older and I just don't have the energy like I used to. And so most of us fall in one of those groups. But the main things that we look for is fatigue and low energy levels. So it can be that you have poor stamina, poor endurance with activities. And if you used to be able to do things a lot more, then that is pretty much a sign that you are probably decreasing in your nitric oxide levels. Of course, erectile dysfunction and decreased libido is a very clear sign of deficiency. Poor memory and poor concentration, depression and anxiety, difficulty sleeping and insomnia, and of course high blood pressure is very clearly one, and asthma or poor lung functions are also connected with the deficiency of nitric oxide. So,
So those are quite significant. The benefits that you are saying. It sounds like it is absolutely necessary to life. But then, if you're deficient, it can really affect the quality of your life. So, we know that there's a lot of nitric oxide products in the marketplace today, and we know we have access to nitric oxide via the foods that we consume. What, in your opinion, is the significance of the contribution of the AEGEA nitric oxide qubits versus those?
well, that was what was so exciting for me about AEGEA products. Immediately when I saw the potential for that is because with AEGEA, first of all, even with our food sources and supplements and the natural process of our body decreasing in the production of nitric oxide, all of those things working together, but our body, it's very short-lived and it's unstable. So when you're taking it through through beet juice or whatever supplements you're utilizing, through your diet, all of this is unstable and very short-lived in your body, and especially if your body is already deficient, because it's going to naturally snatch it up and use it immediately. And so the benefit with AEGEA is that wearing the qubits enables you to have a very constant, steady amount of nitric oxide in your system that would that would be expected. It will work. It's a matter of how deficient you may be initially and how many of the qubits you may need to put on initially in order to begin feeling some slight changes in your energy level, in your obviously an improved sleeping and more stamina, feeling a little quicker and recovering from downtime with an exhausting activity, and even fewer asthmatic symptoms. I find a lot of people have reported to me that even they find breathing is a lot easier, even though they didn't realize it before.
This is great information, Dr. Pat, because, earlier I was talking about asking yourself questions for potential product people, but now you've just opened a whole nother door of ideas on things that are going on with people that make them a good candidate. Tell us a little bit about, who you see benefiting, how we can restore, and what's the best way for us to use this, and then we'll bring on a couple of testimonials.
Okay, so I see every adult, male and female, has to have this product. This is absolutely necessity for quality of life. And I think that there's two ways of looking at how you would use this product. And I think the older we become, the more that we actually need this product. But I think men and women who have already suffered from any kind of cardiovascular damage definitely needs to be utilizing this product and very heavily. And that would be restoring. And for those of us who are just find ourselves in a state of exhaustion or tired at the end of the day, just not being able to get through the day with a high level of energy like what we think we should have or had been at one time, that is very clearly a sign that we need to So we also need to be, for those of us who are very fit and healthy and really have no cardiovascular issues and have none of these symptoms that we're talking about, still need to be using these for prevention. It's very imperative as adults, or we're really wanting to safeguard our body from the effects of aging, which is a natural part of the process, and all the other factors in heart disease. As powerful heart disease prevention is really imperative for all of us.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So, we're getting some good comments. Some people are mentioning that they've had relief from discomfort and, um, energy issues, depression issues, mood issues. Tell us, what is the best way for somebody to get started with the nitro qubits, knowing that most people are deficient? What's the best way, and where should they, placement? Help us out with that. Thank you.
Well, of course, it has a lot to do with the number of issues and things going on within us, but we definitely need to start with a minimum of 2. If we are really wanting to, and if you don't notice any relief, or and I guess it's a matter of deciding, are you using this for cardiovascular health? And that's my primary thing. That's the foundation for good health. So you need to work on that foundation, implying too, if we don't feel an increase in energy, or an increase, or our blood pressure beginning to lower than you, or improve sleep, some of those symptoms fairly immediately that you can notice, then you need to apply another one. And give it another day or 2. And if you still don't, then you need to put more than 3 patches on. So you need to keep applying. And I don't mean to cover your whole body, but what I do mean is there is a point, even though your body uses what it needs from the patch, if we are extremely depleted, we need to think in our minds that we need to start with more, to give our body, to refuel our body from what it's depleted from. And then if you have areas of discomfort that you want to increase the circulation and help with the inflammation in that area, then certainly apply a qubit, a nitric oxide qubit to that area. It's not possible for you to overdose using qubits, because this is energy. It's not a substance that interacts chemically with your other, with your body in such a way that it's going to have a negative effect.
Okay. And I am, probably can't see, but I am wearing my nitro qubits on my chest. And of course, the more I'm learning about nitro, I'm putting more on. So I've actually also got it on the top of my spine over to the right. And then sometimes I'll also put one on the left. I work out every day. I'm on the go every day. So I have a feeling that I'm using a lot. So thank you so much for that. And then I also liked one of the ideas that Dr. Pat told me is, if you want to get some extra mileage out of your qubits, when you go to replace them, just in case there's some energy left in it, put it in your shoes and put it on your feet, or put it in your bra, or your, under your undershirt, just to get the most out of it. What I want to do now, before we run out of time, is I want to bring on a couple of people for some testimonials, and then have a couple of quick announcements. The results that people are getting are phenomenal. Let me bring on my friend Laura Maddox. Laura, would you share your story with the experience that you have had with your mother? You probably need to unmute yourself. Thank you so much, Dr. Pat.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Laura, thank you.
Good, right, thank you. Thank you, Susie. I have to first of all say that it's hard for me sometimes to get through this testimonial without a lot of emotion, but I'll try today. And the other thing is that just telling about the difference that it's made with the AEGEA products have made with my mother don't really illustrate the whole story. If you saw, which I'm doing, if you saw before and after pictures, it's just astounding. So my 90-year-old mother is in a long-term memory care facility. And interesting, I was listening to Dr. Pat just now, and I had forgotten that my mother has also had a series of mini strokes over the few years. So anyway, my mom is, she's wheelchair bound. She was sleeping all the time. She was in a hospital bed, frail, disoriented, frustrated, confused, depressed, angry, combative. She was so angry and combative that they put her on, I don't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. I'm going to call it a zombie pill because it knocked her out so much. She was just, head rolling over, drooling, et cetera, which I had them anyway. So when I joined AEGEA, I thought, well, I'm going to try these products with my mom. And what I did was I told the entire staff what I was doing. I put the brochure on the wall, made sure no one took the patches off or anything. And my mother's quality of life was such, not only was she angry, disoriented, and confused, if you could get her out of bed, she would sit in a chair with a blanket over her head. She just wanted to withdraw. She leaned forward so badly. She was all, crooked and misshapen. She couldn't talk. She leaned so badly, and she had such a little use of her hands that when she ate, her head would be in her plate, and she would, having to pick up finger foods with her hands. She was drinking out of a sippy cup. So I decided, bright spark. And one day I thought, well, I'm going to try the Relief and the Nitro with my mom. So what I started off doing was I put 2 of the Nitro on either side of her temple, and I put the Relief on her chest where it says, just about an inch under the clavicle. So I put them on, went away for 2 hours, and I came back, and my mom was sitting in the hall, looked up, saw me coming down the hall, and clear as a bell, like nothing had ever happened, she looks up at me and she says, "Oh, good, you're back. Where have you been? You've been gone for a long time." And this was after 2 hours, and then she was gone again. But my caregiver, her caregivers and I were so surprised. But anyway, so long story short, I've now had her on the AEGEA product, the Nitro and the Relief, for maybe 4.5 months. And my mother is a completely different person. She, every time I go, she recognizes me. She'll smile. And she didn't even know who I was before, but I'll walk in and she'll clap her hands and go, "Oh, good, you're here." And she reaches out her arms and hugs me, and she go, "Let's go," because that means she wants me to take her somewhere in the wheelchair. She no longer leans like she was. She has gone from her food in her plate with her, eating with her hands. This is why you have to see the pictures to believe it almost. She now eats a normal plate with food that's not been mushed up and chopped, and she eats with a knife and a fork. She drinks with a regular glass. She does what I call multitasking, because I can give her a book to read, and she'll read her book while she's drinking her juice. She interacts with other people. She's an absolute delight to be around.
Laura, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know that's not an easy story for you to share, but we really appreciate it, because that's what I love about our products. Whether we're healthy or in discomfort, or if we can have more quality time with the people that we love, it means everything. So
I do want to say that
Yeah.
if I'm not religious about changing her patches every 3 to 4 days,
yeah,
she's like Linda Blair in The Exorcist again. So and the other thing is, as she got better, she started pulling the nitric patches off of her forehead, and so now I put them on her chest with the other ones as well. No difference. She's still great.
fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much. We've got one more testimonial, Miss Penny Morin from Canada, Platinum Elite. And Penny has had a great experience with the NO patches. Penny, are you there? Penny, you have to unmute yourself. She was having some computer problems, so let me see if she's back. If not, we will.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, fantastic, Penny. Great.
Hi. Yeah, my computer kicked me out and I had to go in on my phone, and now I'm back on my computer. So good morning, everybody. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. So look, I was introduced in July. I got the Qubits the first week in August, and Suzi was the one who introduced me. So I had been without, without saying the condition, but I had had some issues with blood circulation where I had to monitor myself every day. And I had been on medication for almost 2 years at that time, 2 years, less a couple of months. And I'm not a prescription kind of gal. I mean, I do everything natural as much as I can. So I got these Qubits and put them on, and I monitored myself the next day, and I kid you not, day one, I have never taken a medication again. So I'm going to tell you that, I don't recommend you go off of meds, keep monitoring yourself. But I'm going to tell you, I have never, ever, ever, as a matter of fact, I was hospitalized, and they came and, because they keep everything online and they know what your meds are. And they came with the medication, and I said, well, what's that? And they said, well, it's, your meds for this condition. And I said, oh, I said, I don't even take those anymore. And I showed them the Qubits. So, obviously they ask a lot of questions, but I'm forever grateful because, it totally changed my life, and how quick for me that my body responded to them was absolutely incredible. So pretty groovy stuff. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Back to you, Suzi.
Penny, thank you so much. And I know we have so many people who want to share their story, so I will have to do that another day. But I want to thank you all for being a part of this call today. I hope that you found some benefit for yourself. I will put the list and the questions in the AEGEA Facebook page, so please go there, like the page. And then I want to encourage you to do your 2 a day. Ask those questions to 2 people a day and watch what happens in your business. And then I hope you'll join us all Tuesday night for our business overview. So thank you, and have a fantastic and energetic day. Thank you, Kara.